Morning, although it's nearly afternoon. Got up late again, so my mood and motivation is quite low. It's not as simple as saying I'm just being lazy and not getting up. There's a real respite for me in sleep from the anxiety. So it's very enticing to go back to sleep. If I have an option of getting up or going back to sleep, it's very easy to go back to sleep. Because when I'm asleep, my brain is switched off and I'm not anxious. So that's the sleep bit explained, I think. So I was in bed not 5 minutes ago, and I said I'll try to drive anyway. At least I'll have accomplished something, because it probably won't work out at this point because I got up so late. It's not like I don't have the time to do it, it's just I feel under pressure when I get up late. So it exacerbates an already bad mood, or low mood should I say. The last 2 days hasn't been great, even though yesterday I expected to be better because I ran. Generally, I feel good once I run. And also, I completed a challenge yesterday for charity to run. Well, I chose to run 80 kilometers in January, which I did. No, I still felt poor. So two rough days, I suppose. I was hoping yesterday would be the antidote to the previous day. So I tracked my mood on an app, and I was just looking at December versus January. My mood was much higher in January. Sorry, in December than it was in January. So that was a bit of a bummer. So I suppose the only thing I could conclude rationally was that because I'm going out more and exposing myself to anxiety-producing scenarios, I'm initially going to feel worse. That's why in January, because I was out more, my mood is poorer and anxiety higher. So what I resolved to do last night in bed was just keep plugging away, doing my physical exercise and going out, i.e. driving, and going into shops, chemists, doctors, things like that. And one other thing that I'm pursuing that doesn't relate to anxiety, so yeah, I resolved to just keep plugging away at those, and if the mood lifts, that's just an added bonus, but not to anticipate it. Which sounds negative, but I think it's realistic. Just became aware there, that's why I paused of far from home, I guess, of Gardaí. I was just going to overtake us on. Incidentally, in spite of my low mood, it's absolutely beautiful out. It's St. Bridget's Day, and I've just drove onto the Curragh, and it's a sight to behold. Let me try and describe it. I'd really love to point the phone around, but I'm not going to distract myself from driving. But picture wide open plains for miles and miles, punctuated by forests, the occasional forest and road, or trees and roads. In the distance you can see the Dublin Wicklow Mountains, and there's currently a bunch of racehorses going full pelt across the gallops. And of course you have the clock tower, the water tower in the Curragh camp. So a bit antsy. Bit anxious. So I might just shut up and focus on my breathing for a few minutes. I just said I'd persist with my breathing there. Sorry for the quietness, but if I do it now, I don't have to do it once I get home. It wasn't that I was excessively anxious. At the furthermost point, I was a little anxious, alright. And that's why I started the breathing then, and it worked. For the reasons I cited before. You're focusing the mind, distracting from the anxiety, but through the action of the breathing itself, you're bringing down your heart rate and bringing down your rate of breathing. So it struck me coming into the town as well that something I noticed before was that the town doesn't seem so far now as it did before, because I'm driving further, and I assume that that'll continue to happen. Further and further I go, places that used to be difficult to get to no longer seem so difficult. At the lights here and they're red and there's a bit of traffic, but I'm not panicking the slightest. I'm going to park up if I get an opportunity to try and envisage going to the barber's tomorrow. Because I would very much like to. I really need a haircut, and yeah, my plan was to go to the barber's on Friday. There's no, wait now. I'm just going to park here for a second. Oh, my tyre. Now tomorrow, I have to decide whether I'm going to try and, if indeed I run tomorrow, whether I'm going to do the barbers before or after the run. So as I explained in a previous video, you've potential benefits for either scenario. Before the run, I should really move from here. I think I'm causing a bit of a backlog. Before the run, you're getting it done early, and as I've explained before, the morning times are generally the best times. If you do the run first, you've been out longer, so you're potentially more anxious. And on the flip side of that, should the physical exertion of the run, you're less anxious. So sorry, the dichotomy of the run is that you're either potentially more anxious because you've been out longer, or less. Sorry. So there's two scenarios. Running. Sorry, I'll forget it. No, I'm going to persist. I could get my hair cut before the run, which would mean I would possibly be less anxious because it's early in the morning, and there may be more parking. So if I left it after the run, it could go one of two ways. I could be more anxious because I've been out longer, and I've been out in the open for 40 minutes from the run, and then I'll have to go home and get showered and get breakfast and the whole lot, so it'll be kind of playing on my mind. So I could be more anxious for those reasons, or less anxious because of the physical exertion of the run. Jesus Christ, that was like pulling teeth. Anyway, back to today's drive, yeah, it was pretty comfortable. And another thing I resolved to do yesterday was not wait till the anxiety's gone. And I have resolved to do this in the past, but yesterday I doubled down on it. So I was like, oh no, I'll wait till I'm a bit more comfortable to do the run, to do the long run in the town outside because I'm currently doing it in the business park, or I'll wait till I'm more comfortable before I get my hair cut. I think I just need to crack on with it and surprise myself, hopefully, as I did with my first run at the start of January out during the day in the business park. I was surprised at how well it went. I think I need to take more leaps like that. I'm going into the shop, but I'm going to leave it at that because I'm rabbiting.